Hey guys, Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. James Moore, yours is headed to you. Your shot glass, all the channel members that have joined and become channel members, or I should say channel sponsors, getting these things out now. And Velco, I can't pronounce it. Ndiaye, which is headed your way in Allen, Texas. Yours is getting packaged up right now, too. So, Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones likes to speak on all things that are the Dallas Cowboys. He is, of course, speaking on Dak Prescott. Now, I got to tell you, what was really cool was seeing on Instagram and Twitter these workout videos of Zeke Elliott. The season just ended a few weeks ago, but he's already pumping away in the gym. It looks like he's getting ready to go, cross country skiing or something, but he's working his ass off, which is great because I look at last year, and I got to be honest with you, I think the contract negotiations derailed the season. You can't look at what happened last year and say it didn't affect the team. Okay, Zeke Elliott, in Cabo, when the team is working on getting ready for the season, you don't have that many packed practices, and with the new CBA, there's going to be even less padded practices. There's no way to get ready for football except for playing football. Yeah, he's running around on the beaches in Cabo and stuff, but it ain't like being at summer camp with everybody else, building that camaraderie, getting the timing down and things. And he still he still got his yards, he still got a great offensive line and things and a great offense. But he just did not seem to have that burst. And if you remember, I remember in one of the games when Tony Pollard was out, Zeke Elliott going, I need a blow. No, you don't need a blow. You're the highest paid running back in the NFL. I need you for 60 minutes on Sunday. All 60 minutes. There ain't no blow. Get a blow in between. Get a blow in the offseason. But anyway, I think waiting on that contract where they literally caved, they kept saying, we're not going to reset the market. He's under contract and this, that, and the other, and yet you caved and you reset the market for Zeke. The same thing with D-Law. D-Law, you franchise tagged him, and he's basically like, look, I ain't playing. I played one time on the franchise tag. I ain't playing this time. I ain't playing with you. Him waiting to get that shoulder worked on, because he could have had that shoulder worked on as soon as the season went over and had been healed in time to be there for training camp. He didn't work out in training camp till the last week, and he didn't do any hitting. And you could see the beginning of the season how he was not the same guy. Well, we can't have that with Dak. So Jerry was asked, what's going on with the contract? She said, when you think about spending $100 on something, when you get to 101, it's kind of a different thing, but you get it done. You don't want to spend that one more dollar, even though you already spent 100. You're already in for 100. You're in for the one. So if that's the case, Jerry, then get this thing done. Then he was asked if he's worried that if they put the franchise tag with Dak, if he'll be worried about Dak not coming in and working out for OTAs and things. And he says, we're not worried about that. As long as we got the tag and we got his, control of his rights, basically. We're not worried about that because Dak is a professional and he works out this, that, and the other. So at least he's not saying Dak who? But they need to get this thing done. Without a doubt, they need to get this thing done. For me, in my mind, here's the thing. If you're to believe what you're hearing, and with this new CBA, when you think about the idea that they're estimating that in 7 years that the salary cap could be $470 million. Just coming back from the doctor's office, I'm hearing that Maryland is putting on the ballot for this fall gambling license, 9 new gambling licenses, including one for the Washington Redskins. A gambling license for the Washington Redskins. You think about the new television contract. You think about all this money. This is where you got to understand about investing. When you invest in something, you are looking for a return on it, or you're looking to buy things when they're cheaper before the price goes up, because then you're ahead of the game. And when you look at the Cowboys, what they've done thus far, last year, Jalen Smith's contract over. Yeah, he's getting on average, I think, $12 million a year or something like that. He's about 6th or 7th on the list. But now you have all these other linebackers and things that are going to be getting contracts done with new money, a lot of new money. So when you look at that $12 million right now, you say that's a lot of money. But 2 years from now, when the salary cap is at, like, say, $250 million, and these guys end up getting their contracts done, it's going to go through the roof. It's very conceivable that in 2 years, just like we went from Kirk Cousins being the highest paid, 2 years ago at 28, right now we're at 35. I can guarantee you it's going to be 40 or more for Pat Mahomes. It's conceivable that in 2 years, that $50 million is what the quarterback's going to be paid. So you need to go ahead and forget about this. Oh, we're going to franchise tag him for 2 years, spend $72 million on that, and then say, okay, he is legit. We need to get a long-term deal. And now you're spending $50 million a year on it. What you need to realize is the reality of it is right now, you get him for 33, 35, maybe even 36 right now, before Pat Mahomes, before Deshaun Watson, before all these other guys that are going to be coming up next year, including Kirk Cousins, who's they're working on another deal for him. 2 years from now, that's going to look like a hell of an investment that, we got him for cheap before all this other stuff went down. Now, I may be wrong, but I got to tell you, from what I see, knowing that 8 years ago, the salary cap was $120 million. Today, it stands at $200 million. And the way you have to understand or look at that is this. In that 8 years, you had the concussion. Remember the concussion movie? And, players suing the league for benefits and everything else? You had the whole lawsuits and all. You had the NFL settling on that. You had viewership go down. You had the anthem protest happen. All that, and it still went up $10 million a year. Now you're adding a 17th game. Labor peace for the next 10 years. New television contracts. And gambling is coming to the Redskins Stadium. It's on the ballot for this fall to be voted on. In which case, it'll probably pass. In which case, you'll be gambling at the stadium. It behooves you to actually look at this and say, this is an opportunity. Everything in the NFL is a gamble to begin with. When you draft a guy in the draft, that's a gamble. You got a 50-50 crapshoot on whether or not this guy's going to become a great player or being a bust. And it doesn't matter if you're drafting the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. Everybody can be a bust. It's a gamble. But what you have to look at right now is, okay, all these numbers are going to go up. Let's look at it this way. Let's lock down as many of these guys that we deemed are really good right now. And the way you do that is okay, we got $77 million in cash right now. $77 million. You could take about $10 million right now from Zach Martin's deal. Boom, restructure that sucker. Tyrone Crawford, he doesn't come back, or if you restructure him, you save another $8 million there. You can do enough things that you could get to $120 million. And right now would be the time that you go through and you get these guys. You go ahead and hit this thing right now while you can, because teams right now are looking to create some room. They're trying to create some room. They're getting rid of guys and making trades that are dirt cheap. You go through, you lock down a couple of these guys cheap right now, and you try and make that run, knowing that in the next 2 years, you're going to have the space to make up for what you ended up putting in now. That is hedging your bet on the future. And I got to tell you, one thing that the NFL does better than anything else, that is make money and keep increasing the salary cap. So I'm not the GM. I'm not the owner. I don't work for the Dallas Cowboys. But see, in my mind, you make that investment right now and you try and make that run. You get Dak Prescott signed, and what you do is that first year, you say that first year salary, it's $1 million. And you play the guaranteed money on that stretched out. Get the contract for about, the hit for the first year, say $26 million. That leaves you more cash to go ahead and make those moves. Well, we'll see what happens. I've got some more of these. I got to get sent out to you guys so I can go to the post office this afternoon. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, thank you guys for being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Derek Peckerson, you're next. See you later.